UFC 275 Teixeira versus Prochazka takes place in only a matter of hours, and I'm going to go through my last-minute detailed prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. I'm not just saying who I believe is going to win and why. I did that earlier this week. I'm trying to predict every single fight on the card perfectly. I'm going to say how every single minute of the fight is going to go. I'm going to say if there's a KO, what limb will be used. If there's a submission, what submission will be achieved. What round there'll be achieved in. If it makes it to a decision, what the scorecards are going to read. I'm trying to be perfect. Let's start straight away with the early prelim opener of Ramona Pascual versus Joselyne Edwards. I'm going to go with Joselyne Edwards winning this one by unanimous decision. I'll say she'll win it 29-28 on one scorecard, 30-27 on the other two scorecards. I see Joselyne Edwards going out there and outstriking Ramona Pascual on the feet very comfortably, using a lot of kicks. I think she'll win the first round very, very comfortably. I think maybe she'll go out there, land a lot of leg kicks, land a lot of body kicks as well. Ramona Pascual is going to be trying to take her down. I don't think she's going to be able to in that first round. I think Joselyne Edwards keeps a jab out there, lands a couple of straight shots as well. I think it's going to be a very slow-paced fight. Very, very boring. Of course, it is women's MMA. So I'm going to go with Joselyne Edwards outpointing Ramona Pascual in the first, maybe getting taken down and getting right back up and being against a cage, but doing a little bit more damage in the clinch. Then round two, it's going to get a little bit closer. Joselyne Edwards wins that round as well and starts landing more shots, but Ramona Pascual's starting to land a couple of shots as well because Joselyne's thinking about the takedown, and maybe Joselyne Edwards is going to get taken down in this round, held down for like a minute or so, but do some damage on bottom, work her way back up to the top against a cage, landing some body shots, landing some knees in the clinch. They separate and Joselyne Edwards starts outstriking her again towards the last minute of round two. Round three, I think it's going to be very close. Ramona Pascual gets control time. Joselyne Edwards wins the stand-up. One judge is going to give it to Ramona Pascual. The other two are going to side with Joselyne Edwards on damage. So that's how I feel like it's going to go. Decision win for Joselyne Edwards. 29-28 on one scorecard, 30-27 on the other two. Moving on, now Liang versus Silvana Gomez Juarez. I'm going to go with Silvana Gomez Juarez winning some stand-up battles early, and then now Liang's going to shoot a takedown, fail the takedown, end up on bottom. Silvana Gomez Juarez starts landing some shots, gets a little bit overexcited, still keeps landing some big blows from top, and now Liang's taking them because she's got a very big chin, and I think out of nowhere, now Liang is going to get an armbar finish from on bottom against Silvana Gomez Juarez and make it the third armbar loss in a row for Silvana Gomez Juarez, and also Na Liang has a lot of armbars before in her career, so I see an armbar in the first round for Na Liang after taking some ground and pound early. I think she latches it up like the female Paul Craig and gets it done. Moving on to the prelims, Kang versus Dana Batgerel. I see a very patient start from both men. I think Dana Batgerel is going to be very patient early on, just throwing some feints out there. Maybe Kang's going to be landing some inside leg kicks, a couple of front kicks to the body, maybe a couple of jabs land here and there, and out of nowhere, I think Dana Batgerel is going to find his timing, and this one's going to be a really quick prediction. I think within 2 minutes, I can see Kang landing a couple of jabs, Dana Batgerel feeling out his timing, trying to throw a couple of feints here and there, and I see him slipping on the inside of Kang's jab and landing a right hand over the top and chinning Kang badly, rocking him really badly, following up with decent shots afterwards and putting him away by KO in the first round. Dana Batgerel, first round KO. Moving on up the card, Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malkoun. I'm going to be going with Brendan Allen here. I think I'll pick him by decision. I don't see him finishing Jacob Malkoun. I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to win this one by rear naked choke in the third. I changed my mind. Not a decision. I can see Jacob Malkoun being a little bit jittery on the feet early on. Brendan Allen landing some body kicks and some good kicks to the body with front kicks as well. Couple of shots upstairs, couple of inside leg kicks as well. Jacob Malkoun shooting some takedowns, pushing up Brendan Allen against a cage. Allen doing more damage against a cage, landing some knees to the body. Maybe Jacob Malkoun gets a takedown. Brendan Allen works his way back up to his feet against a cage, and that's kind of going to be repeated towards the end of that round. But because of the good shots that Brendan Allen landed early on, and maybe landed at the end with some knees in the clinch, he's going to win the first round based on damage. Round two, I think Brendan Allen's going to go right back to those body kicks, landing them really good. Good front kicks to the body as well. Good inside leg kicks, couple of decent shots with her hands. Malkoun's going to start landing some shots back on Brendan Allen, then shoot a takedown underneath them and get it. Brendan Allen's on bottom, maybe takes a little bit of ground and pound, maybe Jacob Malkoun finds his way to half guard, but Brendan Allen's going to scramble, find his way out of it, work himself up against a cage towards the end of round 2, land some knees to the body, maybe Malkoun starts landing some punches to the body, some knees to the body as well. Brendan Allen turns around the clinch, starts pushing Malkoun up against a cage, some body punches, some knees to the thigh, some foot stomps. Round 2 is going to go Brendan Allen's way as well based on damage. Round 3, Brendan Allen landing some really good shots, maybe hurts Jacob Malkoun with a body kick. Jacob Malkoun tries to shake it off, shoots a bad takedown. Brendan Allen stuffs it, takes the back, lands some good shots from there. Jacob Malkoun gives up his back. 2 hooks in for Brendan Allen, still landing some good shots, puts in the rear naked choke, and gets a submission win in the 3rd round. Brendan Allen gets it done by sub. Moving on up the card, Hayisaer Maheshate versus Steve Garcia. I'm going to go with Steve Garcia by decision. I think Hayisaer Maheshate is going to come out there with a bunch of nervous energy. He's going to go straight for Steve Garcia early on, start throwing some big punches. Maybe Steve Garcia peppers him with a jab a couple of times, starts busting his nose up a little bit. But Maheshate is going to land some big shots on Steve Garcia, maybe wobble him at one moment, and then Steve Garcia starts throwing back. Maheshate gets a takedown, lands some decent shots there. Steve Garcia stays in the fight, gets in the clinch, pushes up Maheshate against the cage, starts kneeing him to the thigh, stomping on his foot, punching him to the body, kneeing him to the body. They separate. Both guys are landing some decent shots at range, but Maheshate has hurt Steve Garcia in the 1st round, so he'll win that one. And in round 2 and 3, I see Steve Garcia taking him down, ending up in half guard. Maybe Maheshate has some moments on the feet where he swings really heavy and looks for some big shots, but I think those are going to miss, and it's going to lead into some takedowns from Steve Garcia, and I think he'll settle in half guard, land some total strikes, maybe pass into mount, maybe Maheshate gives up his back, Garcia takes it, separates, pushes him up against a cage, lands some good knees to the thigh and foot stomps. I think this is going to be a very boring fight after round 1. Maybe Maheshate has some big moments here and there, but I think the majority of round 2 and 3 is going to be Garcia in half guard on top, landing total strikes, against a cage, landing total strikes, and I think he wins the fight 29-28 across the board. Steve Garcia Jr. gets it done. Moving on. Up the card, Seung Choi versus Joshua Culibao. I'm going to be going with Seung Choi winning this one. I'm pretty confident in him, but I don't mind Joshua Culibao's chances as an upset. So I'm going to go with Seung Choi winning the first 2 rounds here. I think his leg kicks are going to be a problem for Joshua Culibao. I think he'll land a bunch of those. Maybe a couple of straight punches here and there as well. A couple of 1-2s down the pipe. Another leg kick, a calf kick on Joshua Culibao. Culibao's going to be like ripping to the body here and there, and like Seung Choi will throw a big knee and then separate from the clinch. Maybe Culibao tries a takedown, gets it stuffed. They both end up back on their feet. Culibao's peppering volume out there, but Seung Choi's got the power advantage early on. So he's winning the exchanges on like a 2-for-1 rate. Maybe Culibao lands a couple of grazing shots, and then Seung Choi lands a really solid punch back on him in rounds 1 and 2. Again, with those leg kicks, I think he's going to be chopping him apart early on. A couple of body kicks as well. Maybe a head kick mixed in there that might land. Culibao starts doing a bit better in round 2 with that deal. But then round 3, I do see Joshua Culibao turning it around, having some really big moments. Maybe Seung Choi is starting to slow down a little bit from throwing too much power early on, being a little bit emotionally invested, and Joshua Culibao starts swarming him, landing some big shots, but they end up clinching. Seung Choi knees to the body, separates, finds his space, chops at the leg. Culibao's leg is destroyed, so he can't quite get the deal done for a 10-8 or like a finish, but he is going to win the 3rd round quite dominantly and quite clearly. I see a 29-28 to Seung Choi, surviving the 3rd, but winning the first 2. Moving on to the main card. Jack Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Emeev. I can see both guys landing a couple of peppering shots early. Jack Della Maddalena ripping the body a couple of times, and then using that moment where Jack Della Maddalena goes to the body, Ramazan Emeev is going to look to clinch, find himself in a clinch, but Maddalena's going to have underhooks on him. So Ramazan's just going to push him up against a cage, knee is fire, drag him down to the canvas, maybe get him down a couple of times, but Jack Della Maddalena's going to scramble back up to his feet and get back up, maybe push Ramazan Emeev up against a cage, land a couple of knees to the body, couple of big shots, Emeev separates, Emeev starts landing some good shots on the feet as well, with like some straight right hands and left hands as well down the pipe. Couple of body shots from Emeev, a couple of leg kicks from Emeev. Maddalena starts shaking it out a little bit, then lands some leg kicks of his own, some body shots of his own, some good shots upstairs. Round 1's over. Round 2, I see Ramazan Emeev getting a takedown early on Jack Della Maddalena, who tries to start fast with the hands. and then he's on top for like 2 minutes in round 2. Maddalena's on bottom, lands a couple of shots, total strikes. Emeev's landing some total strikes as well. But Jack Della Maddalena finds his way up on a single leg or something like that and scrambles. Ramazan Emeev gets the back, tries to take him down, but Jack Della Maddalena Granby rolls out of it, ends up on top again, gets into like a north-south position, starts landing some body shots on Ramazan Emeev while he's on the ground, like Usman did against Covington at the end of round 2 when he hurt him. Landing those body shots in a north-south position, Ramazan Emeev bails, separates, rolls to his back. Jack Della Maddalena says, get back up. This is about with 2 minutes left to go in the second round. Maddalena starts getting his jab going. Emeev lands a big shot, but Maddalena takes it and pressures, lands some body shots, lands some head shots, some leg kicks as well. Emeev shoots again, gets it, but Maddalena gets right back up, knees him to the body. Emeev starts kneeing the body back a little bit, landing a couple of good punches too. They're against the cage. Maddalena turns it round, knees him to the body, lands an elbow off the break, separates, couple shots back and forth from both of them at the end of round 2. Emeev's looking tired, Maddalena's looking fresh. We move into the third. I see Jack Della Maddalena starting fast, stuffing a takedown early. Again, north-south punches to the body. Emeev rolls to his back. Maddalena says, get back up. Emeev's got a busted eye, a broken nose. Maddalena wants him back up. He stands back up slowly and timidly. And then they go back into the stand-up. Emeev lands a big punch, but Jack Della Maddalena rips the body afterwards. 2 shots to the body, 2 shots to the head. Emeev gets hurt against the cage, tries shooting again. Jack Della Maddalena keeps it standing, defends the takedown. Big knee to the body, big uppercut, big 1-2, couple of body shots, some upstairs as well, and finishes Ramazan Emeev against the cage in the third round. Moving on up the card, Andre Fialho versus Jake Matthews. I'm going to go with Andre Fialho winning this fight by second round KO is what I'm going to go with. I think that Jake Matthews is going to give him some problems early on. I think this is a dangerous matchup, by the way, for both guys. So I'm going to say that Jake Matthews goes out there, lands a couple of decent shots early on. Fialho starts chopping at the legs, but Jake Matthews chops at the legs back himself. Lands some good jabs to the body, some good jabs upstairs. Andre Fialho starts swinging some hooks, but missing a couple of times, and Matthews looks pretty slick on the feet, making him miss, making him look quite bad. Andre Fialho keeps up the pressure though, lands some good leg kicks of his own. Matthews keeps scrambling and shoots a good takedown, and gets it on Andre Fialho, ends up on top, maybe passes over into side control, lands some good punches. Fialho reclaims guard a little bit, half guard, some good punches from Matthews again, another sort of full guard moment from Andre Fialho, gets back to his guard, gets back up against the cage. Matthews starts landing some body shots as he gets back up, some good knees. Fialho lands an elbow in the clinch, cuts open Jake Matthews above the eye. He's bleeding a little bit. Both guys are scrapping towards the end of the round. Andre Fialho gets rocked by like a decent shot from Jake Matthews, gets wobbled a little bit. Matthews goes crazy, starts swinging some big shots. The crowd's starting to really get behind him. He's obviously Australian in Singapore. He's kind of got the crowd behind him. Andre Fialho's covering up, lands a big shot on a counter, lands a good body shot on a counter. They're both at range. Good leg kick from Fialho on the calf. Good jab from Fialho, busts up the nose of Jake Matthews, and they separate. Maybe first round Jake Matthews. Round 2, I think Matthews shoots again, gets it, but not for long. Fialho works his way back up, lands a good elbow on the clinch, good knee to the body, jab 2 as well at range. Matthews is still landing big shots. He's starting to sort of entertain the brawl a little bit. He's bleeding from one eye. He's got a broken nose. Andre Fialho still landing big shots. Matthews starts doing well, landing some good ones, and then out of nowhere, boom, big check hook KO from Andre Fialho on Jake Matthews that puts him down quite bad. Matthews is covering up. Fialho keeps pounding his guard on the ground. TKO. Jake Matthews ain't defending himself properly. He ain't advancing position. He's not out cold, but he's just covering up. Broken nose. Maybe he shatters an orbital or something. Second round finish for Andre Fialho. Moving on up the card. Zhang Weili versus Joanna and Jedrzejczyk. I see this being quite a slow-paced fight. Decently scrapped, but not as great as the first one. I really don't think so. I think it's going to be an entertaining matchup, but not as high-paced. I think that Joanna and Jedrzejczyk's going to win the third. Zhang Weili's going to win the first 2. I think Zhang Weili's going to go out there, land some power blows on Joanna and Jedrzejczyk. Really good shots early on. Joanna and Jedrzejczyk get stumbled a little bit. Zhang Weili stays patient, lands some leg kicks, lands like a side kick to the body on Joanna. Then Joanna starts to sort of pick up some momentum, starts landing some jabs, starts landing some leg kicks of her own. Couple of front kicks to the body from Joanna and Jedrzejczyk. Couple of head kicks get blocked by Zhang's guard. Zhang throws back again. They're both trading some decent shots, staying at range, trading some leg kicks here and there. Joanna getting the better of the leg kick battle. Maybe Zhang goes to the body with some punches, lands a big shot upstairs again. Joanna starts doing well, starts having some moments on the feet, and then Zhang Weili blasts a double leg, ends up on top. Joanna tries scrambling, but Zhang gets into like side control, lands some little punches. Then Joanna rolls over to her knees. Zhang takes the backside, lands some little punches. Joanna gets back up against the cage. Zhang Weili's pushing her there. Gets a single leg, doesn't quite get it, but settles on the clinch, kneeing the thigh, stomping on the foot, landing some body shots. And I think Zhang Weili's going to win the first round based on that grappling. Round 2, similar story. Joanna and Jedrzejczyk doing okay on the feet. Zhang Weili landing the more power blows. Both girls doing pretty good. Then, towards the halfway point of round 2, similar situation. Zhang Weili gets a takedown again while Joanna and Jedrzejczyk starts to get some confidence on the feet. Joanna and Jedrzejczyk can't quite stuff it this time immediately. Zhang Weili ends up on full guard on top, landing some shots. Joanna's looking for like some leg locks, or not leg locks, looking for like some triangle or like an arm bar or something like that. But Zhang Weili sort of just finds her way out of it, back into full guard, and then gets into the guard again, starts landing some total strikes towards the end of round 2. Joanna goes for an arm bar. Zhang Weili sort of pops her way out of it and then uses it to take the backside as Joanna rolls over. Lands some shots again. Joanna gets back up. More shots from Zhang to the body, to the knee, as well with some of the knees to the thigh and stuff like that. They separate. Both girls land big shots towards the end of round 2. Joanna starts doing really good, but Zhang Weili has taken round 2 as well with that grappling moment of landing those total strikes. And then round 3, I see Zhang Weili starting fast, getting some respect early on against Joanna. Joanna sort of feeling herself, stuffing a takedown early by Zhang Weili, landing a knee to the body, separating, landing some good leg kicks, landing some good punches as well. We move to the midpoint of round 3. Zhang Weili still swinging, but kind of getting out-traded by Joanna and Jedrzejczyk. A good body shot from Zhang Weili. She shoots again. She gets it, but Joanna gets right back up immediately, and Zhang kind of looks a little bit disappointed that she didn't get any control time, starts to slow down a little bit with 2 minutes to go. She starts getting landed on by Joanna and Jedrzejczyk. And Jedrzejczyk lands some leg kicks, some front kicks to the body, a good kick upstairs that Zhang Weili takes, and now Zhang Weili's looking a little bit beaten up. Joanna starts trading with some hands. Then Zhang Weili, with like a minute left, starts trading back with some big shots, lands some really good shots. 30 seconds left. Both girls are landing really good. Joanna and Jedrzejczyk's getting the better out of it. The bell sounds. 29-28, Zhang Weili. She wins the first 2 rounds, loses the third. Moving on up the card, Shevchenko versus Santos. I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko by decision. I think it's going to be a snooze fest. I think Taylor Santos is going to give us some problems. I don't think that she's going to be afraid on the ground. I think she's going to be safe on the ground. But I think early on, we're going to see Taylor Santos land a decent shot on Shevchenko. Rattle her a little bit, but Shevchenko takes it well. Goes back to feinting at range. Inside leg kick. Jab. Slips a shot. Lands a right hand. Pushes her up against the cage, knees her to the fire, stomps the foot, little punches in the clinch to the head and stuff like that. She separates, again at range, a body kick lands from Shevchenko. Santos lands a good jab. Santos lands another good right hand, but Shevchenko takes it well. And Shevchenko outlands her like 15-4 in the first round. Round 2, similar story again. I'll say exactly the same as round 1. Not really much happens. Maybe Shevchenko goes for a takedown, doesn't quite get it, separates, lands some good leg kicks. Santos starts leg kicking back a little bit. Round 3, similar situation. Shevchenko sort of keeping it at range on the feet. Pretty bad fight. Santos lands some decent shots. Maybe Shevchenko pushes her up against the cage. Santos starts landing some really good knees to the body. Shevchenko separates, lands some good knees back her own if they do stay in the clinch. Separates from the clinch after that, though. They go knee for knee in the clinch a little bit. Shevchenko separates. Inside leg kick, outside leg kick. 1-2 at range. Pace is starting to pick up a little bit now in the third round. Another round towards Shevchenko, but a little bit more competitive. Maybe she outlands Santos like 20-10 in round 3. Round 4. Santos is going to be a little bit beaten up. She'll land a good right hand early on. Shevchenko might take it and be like, okay, that was a pretty powerful one. keep leg kicking at range. Santos tries to leg kick back. She gets taken down. Shevchenko's in full guard on top, landing total strikes on the ground. Santos works her way back up, but gets pushed against a cage. Starts landing some body shots there, Shevchenko. Body shots, knees to the thigh, foot stomps. Santos is punching back here and there. Good knees from Shevchenko in the clinch against a cage. Santos tries to knee back in the clinch. Shevchenko takes her down, ends up on top. Some good punches in half guard on top. Round 4 to Shevchenko. Every round towards Shevchenko so far. And then round 5, I can see Taylor Santos having some moments on the feet, being real exhausted. Shevchenko picking her apart with some good shots, good leg kicks, good shots upstairs. Santos showing a decent chin. Shevchenko landing some pretty big punches, some good body kicks that Santos ain't taken too well. She's really starting to slow down towards the halfway point of round 5. Shevchenko takes her down again when Santos throws like a lazy kick. Gets taken down, ends up on bottom. Shevchenko full guard, lands some shots. Next 30 seconds, passes over to half guard, lands some big shots. Santos tries a big scramble to escape, gives up side control. Shevchenko finds like a crucifix nearly, lands some good shots. Santos escapes it. Shevchenko still in side control, looks to take mount. Santos lands some decent shots on Santos from mount. Santos gives up her back. Shevchenko takes the back, looks for a rear naked. Santos survives. Round 5, 10-8. Every other round, 10-9. 50-45, 50-44 for Valentina Shevchenko. Moving on to the main event. The big one. Jiri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira. I'm going to go with Jiri Prochazka. Looking good early on, landing a big front kick to the body immediately into the fight and shoving Glover Teixeira backwards after they touch gloves. Then Glover Teixeira lands a big punch on Jiri Prochazka as he comes in, and Jiri kind of acknowledges it and does some weird stance movements. Jiri throws an inside leg kick that sort of buckles the leg of Glover a little bit. Glover gets back up with a high guard, starts moving backwards a bit. He's a little bit timid. Jiri lands like a lead uppercut on Glover, which he takes, and then Jiri tries following up with some big shots. Glover shoots immediately. Jiri stuffs it and separates, and they're both back on the feet again. Now Glover's starting to press forward on the feet and start peppering his jab. Glover lands a couple of shots that bounce off Jiri's guard, and Jiri looks for an elbow that just barely misses, maybe a knee in the clinch that lands well. He separates again, moving stances. Now Jiri's on the back foot a little bit. Glover Teixeira, 2 minutes into the first round, starts backing up Jiri, looking to land some big punches. Jiri jumps, flying knee. It lands on like the chest, neck area of Glover. Doesn't really land too well, but it does kind of stun Glover a little bit, but not clean. I don't think he's going to put Glover out with it. I think he's just going to wobble Glover slightly. Glover starts backing up. Jiri sees it, starts sort of coming in with his stance, throwing punches at different angles, dipping, moving. Glover swinging back and missing. Front kick from Jiri to the body sort of pelts Glover against a cage. Jiri moving in, lead uppercut, looking for his big shots. Overswings a few of them, misses them. Glover takes him down. Jiri's on bottom, landing some shots, some elbows. Glover passes over into half guard. As he tries to pass over into half guard, Jiri Prochazka just sort of bucks up and tries to get back to his feet. Does it for a second, but then gives up his back. Glover takes his back while they're standing, drags him down again to the ground, puts one hook in on the back. Jiri's defending like wrist control. Glover gets another hook in on the back, flattens out Jiri Prochazka, lands some big shots. Jiri gives up his neck. Rear naked choke for Glover Teixeira at the end of round 1. Crazy matchup. Jiri has moments. Glover survives, finds the rear naked. I really want Jiri to win. I just feel like Glover's got him first round rear naked choke. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.